Welcome to the Homeschool Together podcast. Where one working mom and a stay-at-home dad help you navigate the nuts and bolts of the growing and dynamic world of homeschooling.
With a focus on early learners, like me.
All the ins and outs of building and maintaining your homeschool life.
Homeschool.
Find out tips and tricks to make things like this easier.
I'm reading.
And ultimately, enjoy educating your kids. And what's that last thing?
Have fun together. Did I do good, Daddy?
Yeah, you did, sweetie. Good job. Welcome back to Homeschool Together, the fastest growing secular homeschool podcast in the North Seattle region.
As we tape this, we have just hit 900 downloads in our first month, and we are. I'm like freaking out. I'm so excited about this.
Yes, I'm tickled pink. You've done a very good job. You have done a very good job. But
I love talking with everybody.
Today is our final episode of our curriculum series, and we're going to be talking about finding used curriculum and how to find it, where to go, what are some of the caveats you want to think about when you're shopping for used curriculums. But before we get started, we want to make sure that you join us on Facebook at Homeschool Together Podcast, our Facebook group, and also follow us on Instagram at Homeschool Together Podcast and see a great picture of me passed out on the floor with my kid. I think it was one of the first things you posted.
So scroll back a little bit.
Yeah, scroll down a little bit. You'll enjoy that. But we want to say hello to some very special people. Now, we got a lot of listeners in the U.S., and so hello. But
we always try to say hello in the language of the folks who are following us, and we are growing internationally, y'all.
I know, it's amazing. Those French and Irish listeners, we love you very much. We've already said hello to you, but let's say hello to Canada. Hello. Let's say hello to the UK. Cheers. Saudi Arabia. Marhaban. And Kenya. Habari. Zimbabwe. Hasty. And the final one in Mauritius.
Yes, someone on Mauritius. Well, hello or
bonjour,
depending on which language you speak. So,
yeah, so we're tickled pink to, it's kind of fun to say all the names and say hello, but we're really tickled pink that there's a lot of people all around the world that are listening. I hope you're enjoying it. Hopefully you're getting a lot out of this. We're very U.S. centric in a lot of what we talk about, but hopefully you're getting that information and it's helping you and your family do your homeschooling environment. And
if you are one of our international listeners, we would love to hear from you. How are you homeschooling in your country? What does that look like? We would love to chat. So get in touch with us through Facebook or homeschooltogetherpodcast@gmail.com. We would just love to talk.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So today we're going to talk about a lot of the challenges and things you need to think about when you're searching for used curriculum. This is a common thing that a lot of people will do, not necessarily for the digital curriculums that we've been talking about or recommending, but maybe for more the boxed curriculums, very similar to the All About Reading, the Right Start Math, and some of the other more boxed curriculums that may be out there. If you don't choose to go with one of the digital curriculums, how do you go about finding more affordable curriculums? Because these curriculums can be pricey.
Yeah, they can be pricey, and so a lot of folks want to get that in their budget by finding used curriculums. I'm there with you. Yeah. So hopefully we can provide some tips to find some good deals out there.
So let's just jump right into it. So let's talk a little bit about the keys before you're shopping for used curriculum. A lot of times when you want to buy something, you want to know what you're buying or know what you're looking for before you actually pull that trigger so you don't make a mistake. So what are these things that people need to think about when they are getting into buying a used curriculum?
Yeah, so the most important thing is to really understand all of the components. So if you're going for a math curriculum, let's say, you want to look at the manufacturer's website, know, okay, I'm looking for a teaching text, a teacher's guide, a student workbook, appendice pages, manipulatives. You need to understand all the components of the curriculum well, so that when you're looking at it used, you know what's there and what's not there. And you also need to understand in that curriculum which pieces are consumable. So if you have a student workbook packet or some other kind of activity thing that may be torn out, that may be used, you need to understand which pieces would be consumable and where you can buy those new consumables at. Sometimes you're going to find used curriculums where they used 1 or 2 pages of their consumable or none of it at all, and that is great. But you can't rely on that, so you definitely need to understand, okay, well, it's this price if I bought it all new, and it's this price if I just want to buy the consumable piece, the student workbook. So you can know whether or not you're getting a good deal by just adding that piece in.
And a lot of these boxed curriculums will sell a lot of times they sell these individual consumable products.
Right, because you may have multiple children using the same curriculum. So
I'm
they
just thinking
do
about
sell,
like Bright Start Math or the
Sure.
All About Reading. I am tearing pages out of the workbooks.
Right, and those workbooks are sold individually. And so you'll oftentimes find it. But the really important thing to keep in mind is you need to understand the edition of the curriculum. So for example, Right Start Math, we're on the 2nd edition of that. If I were to purchase a used version of the 1st edition, I can't get a 1st edition workbook necessarily worksheet set that goes with it. I think maybe in Right Start you can't, but just as an example, you need to be very careful about editions when you plan to buy 1 piece new and 1 piece used.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't want to be disjointed in that manner. So they go through and they figure out, okay, this is what I need to get. This is what I've got to worry about. Maybe even if there's manipulatives that you have to purchase to fill in gaps or holes, like an abacus or something of that nature. What are the sources of used curriculum? Where can they go? Where can they look? Where are these places that they can go and find these things?
So let's start close to home. If you are lucky enough to have a homeschool consignment shop in your area, we happen to have one in Kirkland, Washington called Homeschool Potpourri, which is great. Yeah. And some of these curriculum shops as well will ship. So you can always look. What I like about that is I can just email or even call and say, hey, I'm looking for this curriculum specifically. And they'll let me know if they have it. Sometimes they'll also let me know when they get it in, which is really terrific.
And even just beyond that, I mean, we went into the consignment store and they've got so much stuff there. It should be something that's already on your, regular visiting thing.
Yeah, I feel like you should go there, like hide your wallet or plan a budget before you walk into the store because it's just
bring cash.
It's just so rich. I'm like, I want it all. They have games there. They have novels. They've got curriculum, manipulatives. It's like a kid in a candy store. So I try to go with a very specific goal in mind to the homeschool consignment store. And I remember
she said if you ever needed anything, call her and she'd hold it for you. And that's
they're
really nice.
Really great. They're usually run by folks who are currently or have homeschooled, so they're just a huge support to the community. So definitely check out your local homeschool consignment store. The second thing is homeschool conventions. A lot of states will have one in that June-July timeframe, or May, June, July, somewhere in there. Obviously, this year with COVID, that's not happening. And
we were really looking forward to going this year.
I know, we were super excited. So they typically will have curriculum sales sometimes at the end of those. So you may check and see if there's some sort of online offering in your state since the conventions aren't being held in person, but that's a great source for used curriculum as well. Obviously, that's very timely. You have to wait for it to come up, so you do have to plan in advance.
Yeah, I would imagine that maybe they're doing... Yeah, check with them because they may be doing some like consignment thing or something of that nature.
Right. We've had our local children's consignment sales have gone online here. So you never know, but that's going to be a very seasonal thing. It's only going to be available then. So if we want to move into some online options, one of my favorites is homeschoolclassifieds.com, and I'll put links in the show notes to everything we talk about today. So one of the things I really appreciate about that is that everything is alphabetical, as opposed to some of the other Facebook groups and things we'll talk about in a few minutes. It's so easy to find. Hey, if I want to look for DK Eyewitness books, I love you, DK. If I want to look for DK Eyewitness books, I can just go right to the D's and check that out. I don't have to scroll through a bunch of things.
This is similar to this would be almost like a Craigslist for homeschool stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. It's very low. There's not a lot of pictures and things. You do have to be a little bit cautious on Homeschool Classifieds that you get the year of the printing. So, hey, I see the book on Usborne World Religions. Ooh, I really want that one. And you have to ask, wait, is this a 2012 printing or the 2001 printing? So be a little bit cautious about that. A lot of times, one of the things I like about Homeschool Classifieds is it will list the price and it'll list it PPD, which means that it includes postage. So that's a really terrific way as well to ensure that you know exactly what it's going to cost. You can also search for everything that was uploaded today, everything that was uploaded yesterday. Wow. It's really easy to search.
Is it by could you filter by location as well, or is it just kind of like everywhere?
No, it's everywhere. everywhere. It's all
Okay.
US based, but yeah, it's really great for that. If you're looking for something specific, like all about reading, you could just check there every morning and see when they add it, and then pick that up. So really great way to go with Homeschool Classifieds.
Okay. Next thing that 2 billion people are on this platform. Shockingly, Facebook. So
Facebook.
where are all the Facebook people finding curriculums, and what is out there for them?
Right. So there are several general curriculum resale Facebook groups. So I really like to follow Homeschool Curriculum Marketplace group, Homeschool Curriculum Sell Exchange, Homeschooler Market Buy Sell Trade, Homeschool Buy Sell Trade, and Homeschool Curriculum Free for Shipping. We'll include all of the links to those groups in the show notes. The one thing to remember about the Facebook groups, while they are great, and I bought a lot of curriculum and books and things off those groups, the one thing is you are at the mercy of waiting for the right thing to come up. And that's the case too with Homeschool Classifieds, but you really have to weed through quite a bit. There's, in some of these groups, there's 30,000, 70,000 people that are part of these groups. So you really have to scroll through quite a lot to find what you might be looking for. You have to be pretty, and you also have to be pretty on the spot about it, because there's lots of folks going for the same curriculums. It doesn't mean that you can't get things. I've bought plenty of things and I've seen the posts the next day. So it's not like that. But if you're looking for something hot, it's going to be a little bit difficult for you. So while they're great, just kind of take that with a grain of salt. I like to watch them more, not for something specific that I'm waiting for this one thing to come up, but more just in general. Oh, I see a bunch of the Who Was books, or, oh yeah, I'm going to go pick those up because I know that those are good and that's a good price. And a lot of times in fact, almost all the time, they don't include shipping. So just remember that when you see listings there. So while they're great, you will have to calculate in usually media mail shipping. So I think that things come up all year long, but you'll definitely see a lot more scramble to get them right before school starts. And that's the case even when we talked about starting any of these curriculums. If you're going to leverage your library, any sources that are community-based, if you're starting at the same time as everyone else, that's going to be a challenge. So, and that goes right into the last source, I would say, which is the Facebook group for the specific curriculum. If I'm looking for a used version of All About Reading, for example, I want to join the All About Reading Buy Sell Trade discussion group, because that's where it's going to come up first. Now, the downside to that is everyone in that group might be looking for that, so you do have to be kind of on top of it. I find that you can definitely do well as long as you're not trying to do it right before the start of the school year. Okay. So if you're starting off season, or, gosh, we're using level 1 now. If we wanted to get level 2, let's say, I could be looking ahead for that, and whenever it comes up, I could jump on it and buy it.
So when you're in your daily, perusing of these groups, and are you looking at things for, say, next year? Like, we've already gotten everything for this year. Would you advise people to say, be 6-12 months ahead of time when you're looking for the things you need, like have a checklist or something of that nature to mark off what you're looking for?
Yeah, I definitely think that while you can get things used for quick consumption, you're going to be much better off price-wise if you have a bit of time. So I know what we're using for next year's curriculum. We've talked about the fact that we're using Build Your Library and Torchlight together starting in early spring. So I'm already thinking ahead. I've been buying those books for probably the last 6 months because I knew that was where we were going. Well, I had time to wait, basically.
Yeah, and this goes into new curriculum sales. So if you're thinking ahead, what type of opportunities might appear to people if they're paying attention.
Right. So if you can't find everything used that you want, and you have to purchase it new, the other recourse to use is to understand when the yearly sales are going to happen from your curriculum vendor. So for example, Blossom and Root, Torchlight, Build Your Library, they all have sales once or twice a year. If you join the discussion group, you can say, hey, I'm thinking about doing, Blossom and Root next year. When's the sales usually happen for that? And the group is really great about telling you. So I did that. I knew that we were going to go for Torchlight and Build Your Library earlier in the spring, and I waited for the sale to come up for both of those. And I think I got like 15 or 20% off. So great way to go to understand when the sale is, especially like we say, if you're doing a digital, you can't get that used anyway. So the best you can do is get it on an online sale. So that would be my advice. As with everything, if you're trying to get something used, you're trying to get something on sale, planning in advance is the best way to go. If you need it right now, you're probably not going to get a deal on it. So as much as you can be thinking in advance, I do have a Trello board for each of the curriculums that I'll be teaching, and I have a full list of all the books on there. I have books by, usually how I categorize pieces of the curriculum is like, this is the must buy section. Oh, these are spines or whatever. And these are this would be nice to have section. And then the rest of it's what I intend to get from the library.
Well, we have a podcast coming up about buying used books, and then we're also going to have a podcast about how to use the library, and we'll talk a lot about how we use the library and how important that is. But I think this was really good to kind of, ground everybody in the right mindset to think ahead. And,
Right.
I know we're always, it feels like we're scrambling and running and just trying to finish the day or just trying to finish the week, but we do need to make sure we take a little bit of a breather and think about the future, think about what's coming up, because so we can, save those dollars. Because, if we save $40, $50 over the course of, a curriculum, that's just more money we can put towards books, more money we can put towards manipulative. Right. So, we know, sometimes homeschooling, we can't afford to spend a ton of money on these things. So we want to make sure we get it at the best price we can, most price conscious, and we can get the most for our dollars for our kids. That is a good thing. And I think this really helped kind of ground people in that. So as we close out the podcast, it's kind of a short podcast. This was the end of the curriculum series, and we really hope you enjoyed this. And I think, as time goes on, we'll maybe add more to this series, but this was a nice, I think kind of a shrink wrapped group of podcasts that kind of articulated, what are the options for early learners? What are the ones that we've chosen? How do you go about choosing the things you need to choose? What is all the background on those things? And I hope this helped you. And that if you know anybody who's a homeschooler or a potential homeschooler, feel free to share this series. We'll have nice links on the website to share the series as a whole. And then people can listen to that and pick and choose what they're, are interested in. But we really wanted to make sure that we had a nice little series. We're going to do a lot of sub-series within the podcast going forward. We like this type of framework that kind of has a rolling topic that goes on and on for a couple podcasts that kind of hits the various points and, small bite-sized pieces. And this was kind of a shorter podcast compared to the last few that we've been doing. But we hope this was actually very helpful. We're going to go on and do some onesie-twosie podcasts here, and then maybe we'll start up a new series and maybe even starting up some teaser interviews, maybe.
Yeah, we've got some interviews lined up, so definitely stay tuned. We're very excited.
So, as we like to end every podcast, is what are we into this week? This week we've been into Sam's Zookeeper Challenge on Disney Plus. This is a great little series that I found searching through, I think, the Nat Geo.
Yeah, Nat Geo's got
the
some
Nat
great
Geo
stuff.
section, which, obviously Disney is great. It's got all the good Disney stuff, but the Nat Geo section of Disney Plus is actually, that's the first thing I go to. We turn it on. My oldest yells, "Daddy, look, X-Men, X-Men." I'm like, no, we're not watching X-Men. We're going to Nat Geo. And so I found this little series. It's a cute girl, I don't know, 18, 19 years old, real smart. And she goes, and these episodes are really small, really short. And what she does is she goes and visits like these animals, either at a rescue or at a zoo. I think the first episode was about penguins. She was cutting up fish to feed the penguins, and they're really small, consumable episodes. So you can watch one or two as kind of like, a reward for finishing the day, or something small if you need to like check your phone for messages or something like that, or you have, God forbid, you have to go to the bathroom or something like that. It's a great little thing to turn on the TV. My daughter really loved it. The girl who's running is very bubbly, so she very connects with the age group. Get to see those animals up close, and I liked it. We watched, I think, 3 or 4 episodes in a burst, and I think the whole series might be 8 or 9, 10 episodes.
Yeah, it's short. There was only one season of it, but she was very engaged. She told me that evening all about the penguins and how they prep the fish and all those things.
She went wild about the hedgehog that was under the thing. And again, like everything we talk about. So that got us into a meerkat type of death spiral into YouTube and stuff. But she enjoyed it. It kind of got her kicking up on animals. And since we are going to be going into animals for our kinder curriculum, it's good to start to get that flow of animals and connecting animals to regions. I think she really, really identified with it, and she really liked it. It was just a little, show that we found kind of nestled down at the bottom of Nat Geo, but she really liked it. And hopefully you can, if you're trying to fill in a few minutes here and there and your kid wants to watch an episode, I Highly suggest watching Sam's Zookeeper Challenge on Disney+.
Thanks so much for joining us today and making us a part of your homeschool journey. Please engage with us on social media. Join our Homeschool Together podcast group on Facebook and find us at Homeschool Together Podcast on Instagram. We'd love to hear your feedback, questions, and recommendations. Until next time,
Happy homeschooling!
You know, there are people out there. I haven't actually heard of anybody listening to the bloopers, but I think there's people out there. Yo, people, if you're listening to these bloopers,
Need a blooper check.